Good morning and welcome to Beacon Unitarian Universalist Congregation and Summit. My apologies for the silence. I thought my mic was on. My apologies. My name is Jamaine Cripe and I'm a member of the Lifespan Ministry team here at Beacon. We're so glad that you've joined us this day. And I hope as you hear the words, we hope that your time with us together brings us a sense of peace and grounding to you and your family. Typically this time of year, we celebrate a bread communion, but we acknowledge that this is a very, very different year. You'll find that Reverend Robin is in our sanctuary with some of her family, and she is going to set a smaller table, symbolic of the smaller gatherings many of us are going to have in this coming holiday season. And even in this year, we're seeking small rituals to remind us who we are at our core. And the reasons we limit our gatherings, they're reminders of our commitments and our covenants. And as we begin, I invite you to take a minute to share the light this morning. And as you share this stream out, we'll begin as we do each other by setting this table. And we have a few Beacon community members with us who'll help us be reminded of the symbols of the ritual that was developed by the Reverend Lori Bushbaum. Reverend Robin, and our guests, why do we have the table?
We have a table here because we believe in community, in what we have to give to and to receive from one another. We are created to be both in community and for community. The table is our symbol.
So why do we have the cloth on the table?
We have a cloth on the table because each life is interwoven with every other life.
We come here from different religious, ethnic, and socioeconomic backgrounds. The cloth is our symbol of the love which holds us.
Why do we have a candle on the table?
We have a candle on the table because we believe in the light of our flaming chalice, the light of faith, hope, love, and truth. We believe in the light of insight within each, the illumination of conscience.
Why do we have flowers on the table?
We have flowers on the table so that we remember to pay attention to the mystery and beauty of nature which continually surrounds us.
Why do we have bread and juice on the table?
We have bread and juice on the table as gifts of the earth. They speak to the power of growing things. They ask us to wait for the ripening and harvest. They are symbols of trust and faithfulness.
Why do we have a cornucopia on this table? The cornucopia is an ancient symbol of nourishment and abundance, and we call forth the gifts of this moment and for life itself. So why do we have an empty basket on the table?
The empty basket is a hard reminder this year of those no longer with us, and those we long to have close, of those unseen to us, who are a part of this interconnected life we live.
The basket longs to be filled and so do we, beloved.
Across these miles and spaces filled with the light of this faith and the love that is our source.
Simple gifts that adorn the table still.
Let us give thanks by Margaret
Max
Coote.
Let us give thanks for a bounty of people, for children who are our second planting, and though they grow like weeds and the wind too soon blows them away, may they forgive us our cultivation and fondly remember where their roots are. Let us give thanks for generous friends with hearts as big as Hubbard's and smiles as bright as their blossoms. For feisty friends as tart as apples. For continuous friends who, like scallions and cucumbers, keep reminding us we had them. For crotchety friends as sour as rhubarb and as indestructible. For handsome friends who are as gorgeous as eggplants and as elegant as a row of corn, and the others as plain as potatoes and so good for you. For funny friends who are as silly as Brussels sprouts and as amusing as Jerusalem artichokes, and serious friends as complex as cauliflowers and as intricate as onions. For friends as unpretentious as cabbages, as subtle as summer squash, as persistent as parsley, as delightful as dill, as endless as zucchini, and who, like parsnips, can be counted on to see you through the long winter. For old friends nodding like sunflowers in the evening time, and young friends coming on as fast as radishes. For loving friends who wind around us like tendrils and hold us despite our blights, wilts, and witherings. And finally, for those friends now gone like gardens past that have been harvested, but who fed us in their times, that we might have life thereafter. For all of these, we give thanks.
This is one of my favorite tunes. It's a shaker melody, and the second half, the lyrics are, to bow and to bend, to turn, turn will be our delight. So those are dance moves. They say by doing those things we'll come around right. And I feel like that means just like if we have some physicality involved, then the spirit will flow. And in the first half of the piece, we say, 'tis a gift to be simple, 'tis a gift to be free, 'tis a gift to come down where we ought to be. And when we come around to the place just right, 'twill be in the valley of love and delight. So in the spirit of gifts and experiencing gratitude, I'll say, thank you, Reverend Robin. Thank you, family. Thank you, the Beacon community, for being here, for showing up. You are what make us strong. If you would like to follow along music, we have it on the website. And otherwise, you could just sing along with me. Tis a gift to be simple, tis a gift to be free, tis a gift to come down where you want to be. And when you come a place in a place just right, to be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend, we shan't be ashamed to turn, turn, will be our delight. So by turning, turning, we come round right. 'Tis a gift to be simple, 'tis a gift to be free, 'tis a gift to come down where we ought to be. And when we find ourselves in the place just right, to be in the valley of love and delight, when true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend, we shan't be ashamed. To turn, turn will be our delight, till by turning, turning we come round right. And now for another important ritual, the chalice lighting.
Good morning, we are the Beach and Sway family. This morning we light our home chalice, the symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith, with these words. We light this chalice for the light of truth and reality, the warmth of love and compassion, and the fire of commitment and promise. We light this symbol of faith as we gather together.
In the early hours of the morning before dawn breaks, the monks, young and aged, rise to meditate in the large hall. The only sounds at this time are the night insects, a frog or two, perhaps a forward-looking rooster, long anticipating the warmth of the sun. There is a cool wind in the trees. Gathered in the dark main hall, the monks chant, paying homage to the Buddha. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. As the red rays of the sun break into the halls of the monastery, the monks rise from their meditation. It is now light enough to move about, and there is much to be done before heading out on alms rounds or pindapata. These monks have dedicated their lives to Buddhism and its study and practice. Apart from their 3 robes, a monk's most prized possession is the bowl or pata. Into this bowl are placed offerings of food by people. It is an honor to give food to the monks. People thank the monks for giving them the opportunity to share their food. They know that by giving food to the monks, they are engaging in acts of goodness and cultivating generosity. It may even lead to less suffering and more loving kindness in their own lives. A monk, no matter their age, takes great care of their bowl so that it may last long. After eating, it is wiped carefully each day to prevent it from rusting. It is always placed on a stand so that it may not break and fall, and often it is carried in a sling, for it is heavy when it is full of food and may be dropped by tired hands. And so a monk is practicing mindfulness with regard to the bowl, which has been given by others and without which food will not be collected. The food is for sustenance, not to taste or to want more of when something is delicious. The monks do not speak unless spoken to, silence being considered a part of the training during the alms rounds. They keep their eyes directed to the ground in front of them. By doing so, they practice restraint of the eye. The well-trained monk walks with mindfulness, steadily and dignified. And the people rejoice that they have in their midst these living symbols of the qualities they aspire to: honesty and right speech, correct action, and a life of peace. And that they are able to share their food with the monks and give generously. It is a gift to be able to be generous. For our meditation this morning, we consider the gift of generosity and engage in a loving kindness meditation towards all beings. When we extend wishes of loving kindness to all, an openness can emerge, a place from which we can practice generosity, abundance, as the boundaries between us fall away. We begin as we usually do, settling into our physical selves, wherever and however we are. Noticing the cool of the air around us, the warmth of our clothing, any sounds that might be present. We notice the support of whatever we are seated on or maybe lying on. We turn our attention to our internal weather system and notice what is arising. We pay attention to it, and even as we do, it falls away. This is the nature of all things. They arise and fall away. We move now to our breath, tracing its journey in and out of the body. Imagining in our mind's eye the air as it enters our nostrils, travels down past the back of our throats and then into our lungs. On the out-breath, the journey is reversed. If our minds wander, we gently bring them back to focus on our breath. Now allowing there to arise in our mind's eye an image of ourselves, however we are. Holding this image in our mind's eye, we extend wishes of loving kindness to ourselves. We always begin with ourselves first. May I be free from harm. May I be free from suffering. May I be at ease. Now allowing there to arise in our mind's eye an image of our loved ones. Perhaps we see them on video calls or talk to them on the phone, or perhaps we are living with them. Extending to them the same wishes of loving kindness. May you be free from harm. May you be free from suffering. May you be at ease. Now bringing to mind others whom we do not know, but whom we know exist. First responders, teachers, chefs. To each one of them extending the same wish. May you be free from harm. May you be free from suffering. May you be at ease. Finally, bringing to mind all sentient beings everywhere and extending to them the same wish of loving kindness. May you be free from harm. May you be free from suffering. May you be at ease. Noticing once again the rise and fall of the chest and the belly as we breathe in and out. We take a deep breath in and gently open our eyes.
Each Sunday at Beacon, we invite you to light a candle of sorrow and joy, a candle of grief and celebration. So often life is both and. Maybe today you light a candle for gratitude and remembrance. Maybe it's for healing and hope. Maybe your candle today is for strength and fortitude. Whatever your reason, we invite you to light a candle now in your home. Don't just watch us do it on the screen. Take a moment to light a candle. It makes a difference. And write the name of the person or the place that you are holding in your heart in the chat so that we may share your heart. Today, we also light a candle of witness for Robert Coleman. Robert was 88 years old when he was killed in West Sacramento, California in September of this year. Robert left behind a wife of 67 years and adult daughters who were grateful for being raised to be strong and independent. Before mental illness began affecting his life a couple of years ago, Robert and his wife were pillars in their community and well known to local politicians and neighbors. Mayor Christopher Paladon called them, he and his wife, leaders of the community. He said, Bob became an exemplar, a bridge between generations, between neighborhoods. Bob lifted people up. He gave voice to the voiceless. He built trust. He built hope. Robert also built homes, literal homes, including his neighbors down the street, as a member of Habitat for Humanity. Today, we light this candle of witness for Robert Coleman and his life.
May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be whole. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be peaceful and at ease. May you be whole. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be peaceful and at ease. May we be whole.
I'm told that you could not hear me. I'm glad I got the note. Hopefully you are able to hear me now. Let's try again in this technical world of challenges and newness. It's good to be with you this day, beloved, even across these distances. I'm so grateful for John and for Misa and for that song we began with, To Be Whole. Even the sound of it feels healing in today's meditation and song. A wish out across this day, wherever you are, whomever you are. May you be well. May you be whole. When I was a child, every night I prayed the Lord's Prayer, and that one line, give us this day our daily bread, always felt profoundly comforting to me, as if it was a petition for wholeness, that there would be enough bread for this day. In seminary, I would later learn that the Greek origin of some of those words actually denotes sufficient support, sufficient nourishment, not mere bread, but sufficient support to live. We are, for many of us in the United States, on the eve of a holiday that is all about nourishment. The cornucopia in Greek mythology, we are told, is the symbol of the horn of a divine goat that nourished baby Zeus when he was orphaned. Zeus, having superpowers, broke the horn off and had unending nourishment. But there is no goat's horn this year, is there? This coming week is undeniably hard, no matter what you make of Thanksgiving, even if you abandon with all full effort the false narrative of happy pilgrims and Native Americans, even if it is thanks grieving, even if you wouldn't have wanted to be with your family or friends, even if you hate the whole holiday, even if you loathe macaroni and cheese or stuffing, turkey, gravy, collards, green bean casserole, even if you say you are fine, even if you didn't have to make a hard call to family or friends to cancel, even if you are just fine in this fine, it is hard. Sometimes I think the most healing thing we can do to move ourselves toward wholeness is first to be honest about how hard it is for many of us right now. These past few months have been like Groundhog Day. I've been thinking about that Bill Murray movie. Maybe some of you have seen it, where Bill Murray awakes in a hotel, the Cherry Tree Inn, where he is set to cover the appearance of Punxsutawney Phil to see if there will be 6 more weeks of winter or if spring is on its way. But he gets stuck in town because of a blizzard. He wakes up the next morning in the same hotel to the same song, and soon, of course, as the plot goes, he discovers he's in a time loop. At first, he panics. He tries to get help. When help cannot be found, then he tries to take advantage of the time loop because there are no consequences. Whatever he does the day prior, he wakes up to a brand new day and no one has any memory. But then, after a while, even after trying to woo a woman named Rita, he becomes depressed. He even commits suicide. But of course, he wakes up the next day to "I Got You, Babe" in the Cherry Tree Inn. At last, something turns, and he begins to use his knowledge of the time loop to help others. He starts to develop real feelings for Rita and for these folks he once loathed who are in the time loop with him. And that is when he awakes at last and escapes the loop. I remember the sensation when I was about 2 years into parenting. I had been raised an only child, and the sounds and constant needs of my own children was startling to me, particularly twin toddlers. It was like a Groundhog Day. I felt resentful and exhausted every day. Until one day, I finally realized that I needed to shift my focus away from whatever thing I wanted to get done, whatever plans or demands I had put upon them, and just be there, making their needs for a moment, even for a few hours, my priority, my to-do list. Now, it has not always been easy since then. It's not a magic escape of the time loop. But I noticed that when I could shift into the curiosity of what others needed, that something opened. Like Bill Murray, I found my way out. Recently, I found myself back in the loop. I've felt that I endlessly do the same things with little gratitude or response, and I was feeling resentful and hurt. I can't live like this, I thought. I can't keep piling all the things that aren't as I want them to be and facing that mountain every morning. I had to do something. So I started looking for the smallest opportunities to change someone's day. ShopRite called with a delayed grocery delivery, and the caller was stressed, overworked, and I would guess underpaid. Hey, I said, you are working as hard as you can, and this is really hard. She stopped on the phone, sounded like she was going to cry. It is, she said. Don't worry, I said, we will be fine. They are doing construction on our street, and as I pulled up to the officer, he looked exhausted, had the appearance of someone who had been yelled at all day long. Can I get through to my house, I asked. I'm 4 up from the corner. No, I am so sorry, he said, looking as if he was ready for me to yell too. Hey, it's not your fault. I'll just park here. It's okay. When I got home, there were all kinds of big construction equipment all over my neighborhood, the kind that our 2.5-year-old son Benjamin loves. And so I put down the belongings, put down the to-do list, put on our masks, walked outside and sat on the curb. Hey, dig man, said Benjamin. Thank you. I watched the faces lighten, ours too, illuminate. One of the workers came over and explained that he had 2 young boys at home and how hard it had been. How hard it had been to leave them and put all of the burden of childcare on his spouse. How hard it had been to not have work, to now have work, and to worry about if there would be work sufficient in the months to come. The world opened again this week for me, just as many places have shut down, locked down. Over the phone, in the car, on my own street, the world opened. It is a gift, Dr. Tooley reminded us, to be able to be generous, but generosity is not reserved for those who are considered wealthy. Generosity is not about the transfer of money, but about how we live in the world with gratitude. Recently, a colleague, Reverend J. Leach, shared the following poem with me. It's by Marilyn Nelson, Parking Lot Dawn. After the cousins came the long drive west, car games, sing-alongs, and conversation, alternating drivers, meals in the car, gas station restrooms, or behind a tree. Daddy corrects white men who call him boy, even when they're in police uniforms, even though the radio updates news of sit-ins and white citizens' councils. I ride behind this beautiful, close-cropped head, my window slightly cracked for Spida's nose. Last night, awake, alone, he parked the car in the Grand Canyon's visitor parking lot. And this morning, he woke us up to dawn. There's more beauty on earth than I can bear. Another friend remarked upon reading this poem what a gift it is to be a parent who parks in the visitor's lot at the Grand Canyon so your children can see the sunrise. So you can deliver the goat's horn of wonder, even in a pandemic. When I was a child, I prayed, give us this day our daily bread. And now I think I know at last a support sufficient, a nourishment from the depths of despair, a noticing of the world. This Thanksgiving is hard, and this time is hard, beloved. but not everything. But not everything need be hard. There's more beauty on earth than I can bear. More love, more kindness, and one more day, this day, to watch sunrise. And that, beloved, would seem wholly sufficient.
Hello, we're Linda and Roger Anderson.
We wanted to speak to you about our first contact with Beacon. It was 1999, and we were looking for a place for our kids, who were 7 and 5, to get some exposure to spirituality.
Linda was raised as a Catholic, and I as a Presbyterian. We'd scoped out services in both those traditions for our kids, but we just weren't comfortable. The day we visited Beacon was Kim Beach's first service as the interim minister. He spoke about what Unitarian Universalism meant to him.
At the end of the sermon, he asked for congregational response. I thought, what did the minister just say? No priest had ever asked for the congregation's input. My hands gripped the wicker chair to try to hold on to something, and then Roger raised his hand. What did he just do?
What I remember was how welcome I felt. And we were married by a priest who told me to cross my fingers during some parts of the service. I always felt like I needed a shell to protect myself when I was in a church, not at Beacon. Not only was I free to develop my own spirituality, but I was surrounded by people, each of whom was engaged in his or her own search, and all of whom would support me. My father was an alcoholic, and coming to Beacon reminded me of my first visit to Al-Anon. I didn't have to accept the script of conformity, whether to a creed or to codependency. I felt empowered and supported.
We recognized immediately, this is it. This is the place, not just for the kids, but for the two of us as well. We found lifelong friends. The support and freedom we found here called us to get more and more engaged.
And, as Joe Parsons said when he was president of the board, the more active you become, the more you want to contribute. So we move into a time where we give generously to support how Beacon's mission comes alive in our lives and in the world, creating a life, a community, a world that we dream about.
Thank you.
May the work I've done speak for me. May the work I've done speak for me. When I come to the end of this road and I lay down this heavy load, may the work I've done speak for me. Let the life I've lived speak for me. Let the life I've lived speak for me. When I come to the end of this road and I lay down this heavy load, let the life I've lived speak for me. Let the friends I've made speak for me. Let the love I share speak for me. Let the love I share speak for me. When I come to the end of this road and I lay down this heavy load, let the life I've lived speak for me. Let the friends I've made speak for me. Let the love I've shared speak for me.
As we move forward into the colder months and darker days of late fall, let us remember to hold within our hearts a heaping portion of gratitude for the blessings that we've received. We give thanks to Misa and John for the beauty of their musicianship. Thank you, Dr. Tooley, for the meditative reminder that being generous with our food, our time, and our wishes of loving kindness is a gift we can give to others. And thank you, Reverend Robin, for teaching us that to become compassionate, we must do the hard work of plucking the weeds, tilling the soil, and nurturing our own souls. Maya Angelou says in her poem, Continue to let gratitude be the pillow upon which you kneel to say your nightly prayer, and let faith be the bridge you build to overcome evil and welcome good. Continue to dare to love deeply and risk everything for the good thing. Beacon, you are blessed by the grace, love, and friendship found within this faith community. Therefore, each of you is now commissioned to share this by being a blessing in this world. Go with a tender and grateful heart, remembering that you may be the only gospel that your neighbor reads this week. So in all that you say and do, spread grace, love, and friendship to everyone you encounter, be they online or 6 feet away. Amen, Ashe, and blessed be.